R.D.Lawrence, and it's Tokoshi Thursday. Today we're going to go over some stop kicks. We've talked about utilizing the stop kick in a couple different manners, but as a refresher, the two major stop kicks are a front stop kick and a side stop kick. Now when a person is directly in front of you, they've thrown a punch or taken a aggressive step toward you, the lead leg, whatever leg is closest to you, can get usually a heel front kick with either leg to that forward leg. So this becomes our first available target, because it was a step or a kick, and we're looking at intercepting that kick right at the ankle or at the knee. And we can also utilize, as we're in our mugumai, our nothing stance, we can utilize our side kick as a stop kick using the bottom of the foot, again with the heel, and we just make a pivot and throw that low kick right there to the ankle or the knee. Now, I'm going to ask my favorite wife to come forward, and she will take the part of the aggressor, and she'll stand here. Tricia, yes. And I might have been right in front of her, and she throws a punch, and as I am using a circular block, I can also be using a stop kick to that lead leg, either with that front kick or with the side kick. Now, once I have received this and moved into the position of advantage, I can now utilize my stop kick to the closest leg or the far leg, depending on which of my legs I have ready to implement the stop. So this will prevent her from moving around to get me, hitting my heel in here or into the rear leg. My front stop kick works just perfectly. If I'm still in this position, my stop kick with my side kick can be utilized. Thank you, Patricia. So, as we are engaging our stop kick to move along with our circle, square, and triangle motions, we will look at several different factors. We can have from our mugumai, which is just a little wider, makes it more of a square stance, also known as a horse stance. But we can also have our triangle stance, hamidachi, a half stance with either side, and our circle stance is really the not the horse stance, but the nothing stance. So the mugu, nothing mugu kamai, being mugumai being the nothing stance, circle, like zero, nothing. So anyhow, when we're utilizing the circle stance, we are either facing this way, looking into the ear hole, or this way, looking into the ear hole of the attacker. Normally speaking, we allow the attacker to move into a position of disadvantage, and our skill is what moves them that direction. Sometimes, though, if the opponent is not as cagey of a fighter, we are able to step in to that position and get into our circle stance where we can use our front kick or side kicks. If they were on this side of us, our side kick into the knee or the ankle. And all of that was from using our circular block and being in our circular stance. But it can also be engaged through our more forward type of stance, moving to triangles, Hamadachi also. So, and the square stance in the horse stance is just very easy for engaging and utilizing that side kicking position. But they should be like facing the camera, and they're facing the camera. My side kick comes off that way. If my eyes, so that they are close in, I use it again, Patricia. So, as she's facing the camera, and she's throwing a punch, and I'm here, and I've received this. Now, I can be in my horse stance, which is a square stance, just as I'm shifting, kicking this ankle or kicking this knee. But I can also be maintaining this connection, kicking the opposite leg, especially if her near leg was forward, because she had put a lot of weight behind her punch. Take a half a step forward, leave her right. She's in this type of position, then popping that knee over on that side is very useful for us, not so much for the attacker. But now I'm going to also add in a variance because of from our my eye, our distancing. So if I'm in here, it becomes very, very easy to get this other leg, but I can still do a back side kick. You can see with this, thank you, affects her balance adversely. So that touch, loosen, control that we always talk about, you don't have to dislocate somebody's knee, which is very easy to do with any of these kicks, especially the side kicks. And we've brought this leg up and thrown that into that knee, we can collapse the knee very readily. And if we're doing it from the side, it can be a devastating injury. Doing it from the back gives us a little more leeway. So, buckling the knee, kind of like when you walk up behind somebody in high school and you bump your knee into the back of their knees where they're in their locker and they drop their books. Either you've done this or had it done to you. It's just very much that same thing. And with good close distance, as Manson Sensei always taught, closer you are to the opponent, the safer you are. So if we're in more of this triangle type of stance, then and we're close distance, then it becomes very much easy to control their balance and shift their weight one way or the other to their triangulation points, or as we refer to it as being off a square. Wherever 2 feet are, the third foot would either have to be to the front or the back, and those areas are out of plumb for their balance. So their center of gravity runs straight down through their body. Yeah. On my square, horizontally, I'm balanced, but just a little further forward or same distance to the back can throw me off balance. And that's what we're doing with our opponents as we apply our stop kicks. We're interrupting their stride. If a person takes a step, then they are in imbalance. And so at that point, if we have good connection, our sensitivity training with our hands and our feet, our arms and our legs, we can adjust where that foot that's taking that step to regain their balance is redirected to. And that is really a high point in our training, is to be sensitive enough that we feel these shifts. And the closer we are to the attacker, the easier it is to feel these shifts. And the stop kick is just a bridge that allows us to get our touch, our loosen, and our control. And the control can be multiple things depending upon the individual's intention. And only you can gauge what that is at the moment. So in the moment that the conflict is taking part, sometimes control is nothing more than stopping their aggressive action and taking them to the ground and letting them think it over. Other times, you might be able to do a compliance hold so that they feel a little pain, and if they're calm, you can release them. But if they're angered and out of control, once you release somebody, they are going to continue their aggression. So that might mean that you have to let them have a little sleep therapy. And you let them go to sleep for a while, maybe when they wake up, they won't be worried about you anymore. So whether your sleep therapy comes from a choke or a strike, it's kind of up to you in that situation. As always, I have no weapons, but a weapon can be made. Knowledge over power. Tokoshi Kempo.